everyone, I'm Bonnie from Really Reasonable Ribbon and Make Time to Craft, and I'm back today with another short tutorial on background papers using distress inks. I have another video where I use the background paper for monochromatic backgrounds using the distress ink using 3 colors, a light, a medium, and a dark. And for this paper, I did just that. I used weathered wood, faded jeans, and chipped sapphire for this one. But if you don't have that many ink pads, that you have a light, medium, dark in the same color family, you can make really nice backgrounds with just one ink pad. And these are 2 different backgrounds, but they were both made using just the faded jeans ink pad. It really depends on the amount of ink you lay down and how much water you use. I'm gonna go with this one today. I'm gonna go for the little bit darker. I like this one better, and you know, I like the marbled look with like the little water droplet type effect on here. I think it would make a very nice background. This pretty much was made the same way, except I skipped the first step you're gonna see and went right to the second step, which I'll tell you when we get there. So this is what we're shooting for. So I have the faded jeans ink pad. I have my Tonic Easy Clean matte to work on. I have a spritzer and a heat gun, and that's all you're gonna need. So I'm gonna take my faded jeans and I'm just gonna lace them down on the pad, and I am going to spritz quite a bit because I don't want it to be really dark. The more water you're gonna spritz on there, the more diluted the ink is gonna be, so the lighter it will end up being. So I'm gonna lay some ink on and then dry. So this first step for me is just to cover the white. I don't want any white showing. So I just keep lightly dipping and drying. Because I sprayed more water than I usually would because I wanted it to, in effect, be a lighter shade. It does take longer to dry because you're putting more water on there, and your paper's going to wrinkle more. I use cheap cardstock. It wrinkles. It doesn't bother me because at the end I'm going to flatten it out, and by the time I add it to my project, you're not even going to know. And I'm just turning and adding ink, trying to fill spots that aren't getting as much ink. And every time you get a little on, you're going to have to dry. And you'll notice as the ink on the mat dries out, you're getting variation in color tones already just from one inking of one color. You can see the really light to the darker showing already. Also, I mean, if you feel like you don't have enough coverage, if there's white spots and you have a lot of ink, you can add a little water to what's here to lighten things back up and get things moving again if you're trying to cover spots. The fun thing about distressing backgrounds is you get something different every single time you do it. That's kind of why I use half sheets of paper, because it's very hard to replicate the same paper. So if you have a project and you're short of paper, it's really hard to match that paper if you have to make another piece. Alright, so we got the base layer down, and I'm going to go for a little bit of darker color now. So I'm going to lay it down like this. And I'm gonna add spritz less water this time. And you can either use your finger for this or a Q-tip. I've started using a Q-tip just because I get enough ink on my fingers as it is without dipping them right into the ink. This just kind of moves it around so you're not going to get a big splotch of darker color. And it also sometimes lets you get like a water droplet effect like that on your paper, which is kind of cool. And now we're just going to pick up more color from what's already on here. And if at any time you flip it over and say, oh, that's perfect, then stop. I often go too far. And also your Q-tip, if there's stubborn spots that are too light, you can come in with that Q-tip and fill in spaces if there's any spots that bother you, particularly in the middle. And then if if you're satisfied, you stop. If not, you can do another layer of ink and repeat the same process. With this lighter ink, I skipped the first step where I inked solid on the whole mat, and I just did the zigzags, inking with the side, and I let some of the white stay. Gives you a lighter shade of blue, and those two would work really nice in combination on the same project. I actually like my first sample piece better, which is typically the case. It never comes out quite as good when you're demonstrating, but you're going to get something different every single time you do this. That's what makes it so much fun. So pull out your Distress inks and try it out and see what you get and see how you like it. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you liked the video, be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel before you go. Happy crafting!